Hello, welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Airfix's latest 1/48 scale. This is the Supermarine Walrus Mark 1. Now, full disclosure, the boxes are open, the bags are open purely because a complete muppet during editing I managed to delete the original file, so I'm having to reshoot this. So that is the reason why I'm actually doing this again. Alright, so I have seen this kit before, but basically only 10 minutes ago. So anyway, Mark 1, great aircraft. To be honest, I first saw this actual aircraft in real life as at the Fleet Air Arm Museum, which is only around about an hour and a half from me. Over in Yeovil, at Yeovilton. Beautiful looking aircraft, something a little bit different. Again, it's one of these aircraft that is so easy to overlook in history. So it's really nice that Airfix have taken their time to go and give us a true British great search and rescue aircraft, reconnaissance type aircraft of this beautiful little flying boat. So, as you can see, we have got a couple of different options down in here. We've sort of got the naval ones, the RAF, and obviously we've got a one from the Australias down in that part of the world. Beautiful box art, as we can see. We've obviously got a downed, I think it's supposed to be a Typhoon, been downed, pilot in the water. This is the type of thing this aircraft did. It was used predominantly search and rescue type role. It's fantastic. It could just go down, drop down, pick up the pilot and get out of dodge really quickly. Saved many a downed aircrew. So anyway, as you can see, usual thing with Airfix, not too much on the box. Got a little bit of CAD work down on the back side of it. On your end, you've actually got your number for this one. So it is A09183. And they've turned it round on me. So there we go, you've got your three little options down on there. So we've got the Royal Air Force one, as we were saying about, is from 276 Squadron, which is actually down in Devon, where I am, funny enough, so it's just down the road from me. We've also got the Naval one, so we've got 700 Naval Air Squadron as well. And then, as we said, we've got one from the Royal Australian Air Force down in New Guinea in early 1943 as well. So some nice little options in there. So, as I said, box is already open, purely because we have been here before, which is quite nice because I'm reviewing it twice now. Okay, usual thing with Airfix, one giant bag, which we're not keen on. And we've got this area down in here. So, if I put this all back correctly, we'll be all right. Okay, so as you can see, usual way of Airfix doing it. If you haven't seen Airfix over the last, what, I don't know, 2-3 years, you'll see their instructions are a light year ahead of the old way they used to do it, okay? So, usual thing, the red areas are really just to point out important points, okay? So that's what you're looking for as you do this. So it's like explaining here that the red part shows it once it's together in situ. That's really what it is, all right? So if you're ever wondering why they're red, it's showing you how it should look once it's been installed, all right? So as we can see, we've got the boat hull down here and we've got the decking above it, and I don't know if that's a mattress or a life raft, one or the other, okay, down in there. Then we've actually got the crew, so we've got sort of the navigator, observers positions down here. We've got little tables, okay, and we've got the forward area with the decking around. But it's beautiful that you do get all the formers for the actual structure of the actual aircraft, okay, or for the bolt hull underneath. Got the little stop-up areas at the front is here for the bow gun, as you'll see in a moment, and for obviously mooring and tying up and anchors and things like that. And then a little bit showing about how that should be in situ. Okay, then moving across, obviously this is the pilot's area, so we've got things for his rudder pedals, his seat, the controls, yoke, things like that, all being fitted in. It's one complete piece and it's going to drop down. It is a central unit as well, all right, so it's slightly off to one side, all right, but it is quite central on the aircraft, okay. Then you've got obviously observers and the sort of navigator area points on this one as well, with their seats being fitted in, and again, full detailed interior with this one, showing the formers. Again, nice Airfix have pointed out here that you do need to make a little bit of adjustments, a little bit of cutting things out and removing them, and then obviously making sure they are fitted correctly and they're in situ, okay. So there we go, going in. You've got to open up some holes depending if you're going to have the wings open or folded up, depending on which one. Obviously you've got a 2mm hole to take out, but already you can see some of the great detail that is going to go in the side of this, which, usual thing, will you see it when it's together? Probably not, but hey ho, at least you know it's in there. All right, so as you can see, this is where it all sort of comes together with this particular kit. So you've got that lower boat hull going into sort of the fuselage of the actual aircraft, then bringing it all together, okay? So just taking your time, making sure you've got all the bits inside first, otherwise it's going to be a little bit of a handful trying to shoehorn them in afterwards through the top, okay? Then you've got the top section is going to go in there, so unfortunately you are going to lose a lot of that detail down in there, but you have got the rear gunner's position, okay? So that is in there. Then you're working on the bow, so we've actually got the bow gun, the sort of back of the instrument panels, things like that for the pilot as that floats through. Okay, and We've even got mooring lines, anchors, and the usual things you'd expect to find at the front. They've done a beautiful job sort of recreating all of that. And then that one is being put in there. And as you can see, that's the two halves of this going in together, showing you with the actual mooring for the anchor system and things like that being fitted in as well. Again, beautiful touches. Shame you're never going to see it. Okay, at the back we've got this sort of rudder tail wheel combo, okay, fitted in there. And then it is going to be a bit of a thing about how you're going to build this. If you're doing this with the gear down or the gear up, obviously for the float plane or in flight, depending on which way you're going to do this. But as you can see, working through, this is talking about obviously weighted wheels being things on things like that, okay, or if you're going to have them up. So there's plenty of options with this kit. Okay, the engine, beautiful recreation of the engine, this gorgeous radial engine, right the way down to this thing being offset by 3 degrees. A tiny little detail, but actually it's a very important one because of the torque of this thing, that the actual entire engine is offset to allow for some of that torque to get rid of that. Okay, so that's that one down in there like that. Then you've obviously got the tail planes being fitted on top of the tails, the straight bars, things like that, and then you've actually got the control surfaces, again showing you the range of movement so you can get it aligned correctly. So 27 on the tail, 28 up and down on the tail planes. Again, nice little touches that you're given those details. That's where those went. I was starting to worry. And then again, really important to make sure you follow the instructions. If you are having it wings open, you're going to be chopping them open here. If you're going to have it folded up, you're just going to take off the little ones at the back. That way you can decide a little bit down here which one you're going to do. So again, wings out, you're going to be using this system with the large wing spar. If it's folded back, you've got this V-shaped one as well as it's going to be going in. Then it's a case of popping it all together. So we've got this gorgeous wing system going down there, fully articulated and moving control surfaces again. So your ailerons, you've got 16 degrees of freedom down there, nav lights and the various items being fitted in. And then again, depending on if you're going to be having it with wings deployed or folded, will depend if you're going to be actually using this system on the side, because that's going to go in those holes you made on the fuselage. Wing spars, things like that, all being fitted in, as you'd imagine being a biplane. And then over on here, we're going to be talking about obviously the wheels. If you're going to go with gear up position, showing them in the up position. So if you're doing it in float plane or in flight, perhaps you want them up, you're going to be needing to do those. Wing floats being fitted onto those once again, and then finishing off that engine. So we've got all the pots for that gorgeous radial engine at the back. Nice level of detail on that one too. And then it's a case of depending on what you're going to do with it. So if you want to have it so the wing covers are on, and obviously for the bomb racks and the torpedoes, things like that, they're on. Torpedoes? No, what are we talking about? Depth charges, that's the one. Being fitted on, we can get all of those in. And then obviously there's smoke markers, things like that, and small bombs being fitted in if you wanted to go down that way. We've got this sort of Lewis gun at the front. And then again, you've got actually transparent glass systems, depending if you want it open or closed, because obviously it can be shut up. This actual rear one and the front one, depending if you want it to be sort of displayed open or closed. We're assuming everyone's going to have it open, but hey ho. Twin Vickers on the back, as you can see down on there, if you're going to have it in the up position, and then the prop being fitted in. And again, little details, making sure you've actually got the prop 90 degrees so the wing fold can happen, because otherwise it'll foul. Okay, again, canopy system, nice choice on this one. You've got two choices, so you can actually have it open, okay, or shut. So if you're having it shut, that's easy, straightforward on. But if you are having open, you'll use the 2-part one and have as if the roof is slid back with the top open, just like that. Okay, again, another nice little touch with this one. Loads of detail, because obviously we've got these little areas at the top being fitted on there, and then down on here, again, depending if you're going to be having this thing swept with the wings folded up, you're going to have to do a little bit of work just on those, just to open up those little areas to allow the bars to slide in. Okay, this is what this is about. Ailerons being fitted in there, and then obviously showing you with the actual folded open, you've got the little blanks going in there, so you haven't got a void looking down into the middles of your wings. Okay, that's those all fitted in, and then again, nav lights, things like that, you've got putting on there. And then obviously the flap system needs to be folded up so it can fold up. It's a little bit complex down in here, but again, it's nice to see that Airfix taking the time to show you exactly how it is, so you can see how it is supposed to line up and go together. So once you work all your way through, again, depending if you're going to be having blanks on the bottom to show nothing, or if you are going to be having bombs, depth charges, things like that on the bottom, you can do that. Same things with the sort of sponsons being fitted on there as well. And there we go, it showed all folded up, which actually looks very, very nice. And again, if you're a little bit limited on space, you're going to need just a little bit of help to show you on that one. And then on the back, as you can see, folded open, or obviously closed up, depending on which way you want to have that one. All right, then I'll show you this one first, because one of these, there it is, really nice touch with this is the rigging. Obviously it's a biplane, you're expecting it having rigging on there and all those great things. Here it is. Okay, so you've got obviously good colour call out, showing you exactly in the red how all the wiring goes to put it in there. So if you're like me, you use something like Easy Line or knitting in elastic, easy job. Wouldn't take too much to put this thing together at all, okay? But it's nice to see Airfix again taking the time to show you nice close-up, simple instructions of how all this is going to work, okay? Right the way down to the aerial system on the roof, okay? As well as obviously all the sort of cabling system for all the rigging down on there, as you might imagine on most biplanes. Then we've got this one, full colour pull-out. So again, this is for the Australia one in New Guinea, early 1943. Okay, some really nice markings with that one. And then you've got a couple of options, as you said. We've got my local one, which I'd have to do this one because it's from Devon, and that's where I am in this part of the world. Okay, so this is from 276 Squadron. Again, down in here, really nice with that sort of standard sea grey, sea green type colour. Okay, and then again, down underneath as well, we've got one here, HMS Sheffield 1941, Naval Air Squadron 700. Really nice as well. Some really very nice markings with those, as you can see. Okay, so decals. Airfix is pretty standard. Decals on this one, a little bit flat. I always find them a little bit flat, but let's face it, compared to what they were 20 years ago, it's like day and night. At least they're in register these days and really good. And even the white looks quite solid on these, although sometimes it is worth popping down a primer of white just to give them a more solid look when you go over them. But as you can see, beautiful, all in register, no problem with those at all. Okay, into my opened bag, as we explained earlier. Okay, so let me show you what we showed you last time. Okay, start off with, as you can see, beautiful sprue, highly detailed. And to be honest, what we love about this kit, one of the details is underneath here, I don't know how well the camera even picks this up on the light and all the rest of it, but this is actually all raised details on the lower of the hull. So again, it's all raised rivet detail on the lower section for this sort of boat section of the hull. But when you come up to the top side, as you can see, this is all recessed riveting on here, and boy is it beautifully done. Very clean, very sharp, very crisp, right the way through, even down to the mooring loop, if you can see that on the front, which is absolutely minute. Okay, very, very nicely done, all of those details. And then down on here, if we have a run round, we've got here, this is the bottom, sorry, the top of the actual, the sponsons, for underneath the wings, and we've actually got the flap systems, which are these here, beautifully textured and everything. But bang, that's all the detail under here. As you can see on the close-up, fantastic detail of all the spars and all the framework inside the entire aircraft. But it does come at a price we spoke about before. It's got an ejector pin in every single hole, and I counted them out before, and I think we got to 35 and I gave up. So I'm not going to do it again, but this is the price you pay to try and get this level of detail out of a mould. My only thing to it is they are a pest trying to get in and clean them all up if you wanted to display it. The other thing is though, are you actually going to see it? That's the thing. Once this thing's buttoned up, you're going to lose all this detail unless you're planning on perhaps having an open section, something else like that. So in some ways, whilst I think it's beautiful, I think the ejector pins are killing it for the amount of work it's going to do, for the amount you're actually going to see it. But generally, as you can see, very, very nice detail on those. Wing sections, again, absolutely beautifully done. As you can probably see, catching it in the light, we've got all the ribs and formers showing through the canvas, because don't forget this is a canvas aircraft. Okay, and then if we have a look a little bit closer, as you can see, beautifully done, gorgeous work on all of these. This is obviously the top wings, top and bottoms. Okay, and then obviously this is the former for the open, and then you've got the former for the closed. And then looking down in here, these are the internal parts. And then again, we've got the bow dustbin lid, as I've been calling it. Is that what it looks like? And it's detailed both sides. All right. And then obviously we've got top sections for the box sections of the wings. And again, on the underside, obviously there's nothing in the wings to see, but as you can see, we do have full detail down on all of this as well on the inside of those, which is again beautiful touch. But the quality in that molding of the actual, with the ribbing and the spars and things like that, is absolutely beautifully done. Lower wing section is no different. Okay, so down in here you've got all the lower wing sections, and then again if we have a run round here, you can see this is the top of the lower wing. Okay, tops of the lower wings, and then the underside of the lower wings. You can see you've got the bomb racks down in here, and obviously the wheel well. And then again, we've got the top section, catching it in the light. Beautifully recessed details on all of that. And then down on here, we've actually got, I say, all the formers showing through on the actual canvas for the control surfaces for the, I think, is that the ailerons? I think it is the ailerons on that one. Okay, and then down on here, again, we've actually got the tail planes and all the beautiful work that goes on there. And then working down the other side, you've got your bomb racks, we've got the rudder, and then we've got those sponsons again for the floats for the wings that go under the wings. Again, these are all beautifully recessed details on all of that. And then again, on the underside, as you can see, we've got full internal details and beautiful work and ribbing and everything else goes right the way underneath these as well. Okay, so some very, very nice touches with this kit. Okay, then we tend to get a little bit busy, all right? So we've got lots of bits to have a look around on here. So we'll sort of do it in two halves, okay? So down on here, as you can see, you've got the framework and all the areas as we make our way up. This is the floor sections, very nicely done. So that mattress we were talking about, okay? And then obviously we've got the ropes, we've got the rudder pedals, all these sections. And then as we make our way up, you can see all the gorgeous work with all the engine. Okay, again, very, very nice touches. And if we work our way down, we've obviously got the framework for holding the engine, all the parts, all the engine parts, the seats, and then working our way down, we've got more seats and some gorgeous work right the way down to the anchor, just down on here. And again, beautifully done. It is heavy on the ejector pins, to be honest, but they are hidden out the way for the most part, as much as they can be. Okay, but just generally down on here, this engine work with the actual pots and stuff like that is going to work really very, very well when that's all done. Some really very sharp detailing. Then last up, we've got obviously the wing spars and the frameworks, things like that. That's going in there. Two types of wheels, again, really nice touch with these. So having a look, as you can see, we've got weight without anything on them, so as if it's just up in the hubs or in flight, or we've got weight on wheels if you've got it on the ground. Okay, and then generally as we work our way around it, as you can see, more framework. We've got the bomb racks, we've actually got then the bombs, and then obviously the smaller bombs, the depth charges, the things like that. That's your rudder system being fitted in there, and we've got the tail wheel over there. And again, we've got the actual areas for the undercarriage, for the wheels to be fitted to, up and down deployed as well. Really very, very nice indeed with all of those. Last up, the clear parts. Okay, so as you can see, these clear parts have to be, and I said it not half an hour ago now, the clearest clear parts I think I've ever seen Airfix do. And actually I have to say these are probably the clearest ones I've seen on many a kit in recent times. It would have to be in probably the top 10 of clear parts I've seen. Now I know they're flat, so you're expecting them to be pretty good, but even these are flat. These are really, really sharp. And again, nice little touches. We've got the open window. Okay, so this is your closed one if you're going to be doing it just buttoned up. But if you're doing it open, it shows it here slid back. So you're going to need this one on the front, and even this has got an open window as well. Then you've got your rear one, again, totally closed up if you're going to be doing for the rear, sort of the bow gunner's position, so to speak. And then obviously if we're doing it open, you've got various spare bits of glass and various things in there. Again, beautifully done, very, very sharp. And there you have it. I have to say, I'm in love with this kit. It's got so much detail, it's got so much going for it, and it's quite a small aircraft. So I have to give kudos to Airfix, because this is actually probably my favourite kit Airfix have done, maybe even to date, purely because it's not seen very often, it's not a well-known aircraft, but the level of detail that Airfix have actually put into this one is actually second to none. Now, does it go together really well? I don't know, I haven't built it. I can see myself building this purely because I've fallen in love with it. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's got so much going for it. You've got all that detail on the inside if you wanted to go down that route. You've obviously got diorama possibilities for this one. You've got it just folded up sitting in your display case. It's got lots of special things going for it for technically not a very well-known aircraft. So kudos to Airfix for bringing along a kit like this at such a high level as well, because the level with detailing, the riveting, all those things, the raised rivets underneath, the recessed on the side is absolutely beautiful. So I can see myself popping along to my local museum, getting loads of reference shots of this one and having a go at it. So there we go, that is Airfix's wonderful 1/48 scale Supermarine Walrus Mark 1, an absolute must.